So thank you so much for joining us, everyone, and you are welcome once again to this webinar, Financing the Agricultural Value Chain through the Commodities Markets. We appreciate your time and hope that at the end of this webinar, you will understand the opportunities in investing in the commodities markets, more especially as we discuss the basic fundamentals around the fixed income instruments, the trade finance notes, and trading commodities through the commodities markets, especially using our digital platform, and that is COMEX. So today I have two of our experts with me on this webinar, and that's Oluwafemi Kehinde, Analyst Structuring and Origination, who will also be our first speaker on this webinar. And also we have Victory Onya on this webinar, who is also our product manager. So before we commence this webinar proper, I would like every one of us to make use of the Q&A section for our questions. So in case you have any question for the speakers, so we will enjoy you to kindly drop your questions on the Q&A section so that we can attend to them. So without wasting much of our time, I would like to invite our first speaker, and that's Oluwafemi Kehinde, Analyst Structuring and Origination, to start this webinar.
Right, awesome. Thank you very much, Steven, for the introduction. Great one. As Steven has rightly said, this webinar is to actually give some insight into financing the commodities or agricultural space through the commodities market. And I think it's especially very important we actually understand the reason why we need to finance the agricultural space through the commodities market. I mean, coming from the 2020 global pandemic, we understood that there was a need for us to gain self-reliance as relating to food security, given the fact that so many measures were given the fact that there were so many measures put in place in order to restrict international movement and the mobility of goods and services and also products. Nigeria and so many other economies were hard hit, and this actually stressed or emphasized the need for us to actually gain food self-reliance. So I'll be sharing my screen now to let me know when you can see my screen. So just a bit of background, if you look at the domestic economic performance in Nigeria coming from 2020, you actually notice that just like many developed countries in the world, Nigeria actually was hard hit by the global pandemic due to the fact that there was a reduction or a shrinkage in aggregate demand, and this actually fostered a lot of concerns in terms of there's a need to actually gain food self-reliance, as I said earlier. Overall, the Nigerian GDP is sort of made up of three sectors, where you look at the agricultural sector, the industry, and then service. And you know that agriculture actually contributes a significant proportion to the Nigerian GDP, stressing the importance of agriculture to every Nigerian in the domestic economy. Furthermore, when you also look at key statistics like GDP growth rate as compared to the previous year, inflationary rates, national population, unemployment rate, and racial dependencies, it sort of shows that we are in a sort of precarious situation, because when you look at inflation rate, you see that there's been a consistent rise in the general standard of living and general cost of living, and the fact that the dependency ratio in Nigeria is extremely high. There is a need for there's a need for us to actually focus on so many things we can do in order to improve our current condition in the country. Overall, agriculture has proven to be resilient over the years. Like I said, contributing a significant proportion to the domestic economy, employing over about 35% of the labor force that are available in the country, and also its performance. I mean, given the fact that agriculture isn't exactly a field that a lot of financing flows into, we see that despite the reduced rate of growth or the slow pace of growth, we've actually seen consistently since 2015, the aspect of the economy has actually continued growing regardless of the access to funding, the infrastructure gap, and every other precarious situation that they're currently facing. The sector itself, forcing it to not avoid its full potential or attain its full potential at the end of the day. Something I think is also very important for us to notice, when you compare agric and food imports to exports at the end of the day, you see that there's actually a net earnings for us on a year-on-year basis. I mean, we're importing Agric, and we're importing food more than we're exporting out there. I mean, given the fact that we have a significant land mass, we have the potential, and about 85% of the food that is consumed in the country is produced by smallholder farmers. There's a need for us to actually double down on this potential, because it also has its effect on um, value escaping the country. As I mean, think about it: when we produce, when we make money, we're exporting, we're transferring that money out there. So it's more like a linkage, which is exactly good for our foreign exchange earning and our situation and our general standard of living. So just to paint like a scenario concerning the access to finance for agriculture in Nigeria, if you look at domestic bank credit, Nigeria do not, in terms of access to credit, agriculture just accounts for about maybe 5% of the domestic credit available in the sector. When you also look at importation or capital importation, you see that in the last 5 years, agriculture accounts for about 1 to 2% of the capital imported into the economy, despite the economy being, or rather, despite the sector being a very key aspect to the economy. And also, if you also look at the data as published by Agric Logic, you understand that a lot of the players, ranging from farmers to SMEs that play across the service sector, the trade and export sector, the processing and manufacturing sector, the equipment sector, and also the input sector, find it very hard, or have attested to finding it very hard to accessing credit at the end of the day. And frankly, you won't exactly, if you look at the nature of the problem, it ranges from a lot of things, from the institutability of traditional credit facilities that are available, the current risk adverse nature of traditional lenders towards agricultural guys, because at the end of the day, they can't exactly assess their risk exposure when they are actually lending to agricultural people or people that play in the agricultural value chain. And then you look at, okay, there's a need for a collateral, but the farmer do not have the type of collateral that a traditional bank would need. Hence, the farmer is not able to assess input as that, or rather assess financing as that on when due. The next slide actually paints a scenario of where the problem is across the value chain, and what is the financing demand at the end of the day. So when you look at the pre-production stage, you see that, okay, there's a problem to access to finance. Like we've rightly said, farmers or other players that actually produce this commodity find it hard to access financing that's needed to procure the necessary input ahead of the season. So when you think about this, you think about, okay, farmer goes to a bank and says, oh, I need a certain amount of money to get inputs and get improved seeds. The bank asks for collateral. The farmer maybe says, oh, I have another set of commodities somewhere else. Can I pledge that as collateral? And the bank is like, oh, we don't really flow, or we don't really utilize such means or such assets as collateral, so we can't exactly extend this credit facility to you. So that lack of access to financing is actually a serious issue that actually undermines the production capacity that is inherent in the domestic economy. When you also look at the suitability of credit solutions, you see also the inability of traditional financial institutions being unable to assess their risk exposure as relating to extending credits to the domestic value chain or the agricultural value chain from the pre-production perspective. The next state of the value chain would be the production. So what are the issues faced there? There's a heavy dependency on rainfall for water supply. I mean, due to the fact that there isn't exactly enough credit that can be employed or can be utilized in getting apex or capital expenditure required to establish irrigational system in Nigeria. I mean, a lot of the farmers or a lot of the producers have to now rely on the rainfall for a bulk of their water supply needed during production. You also think about the low level of mechanization. I mean, largely farming in Nigeria is largely a smallholder farmer activity. So these guys are the guys that actually predominantly produce a significant bunch of what is consumed in the economy, right? And a significant proportion of them do not have the financial capacity to utilize or rent or lease or gain access to high mechanizations like baby tractors, plowers, and the like. So, I mean, when you look at economies or developed economies that actually have the ability to leverage on technology, have the ability to leverage on irrigational system, you see that they actually have to produce better than us, because again, we're faced with this sort of situation. Next is also the low usage of fertilizer and improved seeds. I mean, the recent report by SEO actually compared the usage of fertilizer in Nigeria as compared to other developed countries, even neighboring countries like Ghana and the likes. And you see that it's not exactly there. So there's still a lot of potential we need to tap, and a lot of things that access to financing would actually enable at the end of the day. The other part, or the end part of the value chain where we look at would be post-production. So access to fair market, I mean, so the agricultural value chain in Nigeria is mostly fragmented. What this means is, due to infrastructural gaps, due to lack of good road networks, you see that farmers who stay in farming regions, which are usually far away from economic hotspots, do not have access or easily have access to economic hotspot. I mean, when they have to engage the services or maybe a transporter, they don't have the financial capacity to exactly engage them, because I mean, a farmer might produce 10 bags and all, and he cannot exactly engage a transporter that will probably take like 50 bags to the economic region, right? So he does not have the capacity to actually pay the transporter or something like that. So you see that a lot of the traders will go into the farming villages, purchase this commodity at a very ridiculous price, and they come to economic hotspot and sell it at a crazy or a very high price to the processors. And then people actually think that, okay, yes, the farmers are supposed to be earning this money, and their standard of living or their income is supposed to improve. But that isn't exactly the case, because when you check the proportion to which the farmer earned for his commodity, is very minute compared to what the minivan actually takes at the end of the day into his pocket. Which is why farmers usually stay in the vicious cycle of poverty, because they are poor. Then you also think of lack of working capital. What this means is the processors that actually demand, or the users of this commodity, do not have the working capital to actually procure this commodity. So think about it from a supply side perspective, or a supply side problem, or rather a demand side problem, right? I mean, supply is available, but the users of the commodities don't have the money to procure it. So in a sense, the market is broken, or there exists no market for the commodity. So you also think about low access to storage and processing facilities. I mean, this infrastructure actually give or actually improve the value of the commodity at the end of the day. I mean, think about if a farmer should actually sell cleaned sorghum, or rather cleaned maize, you know that it's going to give him more value than actually the actual sorghum, or the actual raw sorghum or raw maize. But the lack of availability of such services actually eats into the potential income of the farmer that can actually get at the end of the day. According to Agric logic, you'd also see that on an annual basis, the annual demand by farmers in terms of finance is about 6 trillion. And then from a processor or agribusiness perspective, you see that the annual demand for finance is about 77 trillion, right? So that let's also look at FS Commodities Exchange. So as a private sector business, we've observed these issues. I mean, over the years, we've looked at the value chain, we've worked with close players, we've worked with players across the value chain, ranging from farmers, processors, logistic providers. We've also worked with stakeholders, because we understand the need for us to actually get food system right. I mean, we're crazy enough because we believe we can feed ourselves. We have the land, we have the productive capacity, we have the people that can actually do. We actually have the means to do that. So over the years, we've perfected different formulas, or perfected different business models, to which we leverage on technology, we leverage on relationship, we leverage on knowledge and experience over the years to actually churn out or give out solutions that actually help create shared prosperity for all value chain players. So, like I said, one of the innovative technology we've been able to leverage on is our electronic warehouse receipt system, where farmers can actually have an electronic warehouse receipt, go to a financial institution, issue the receipt as a collateral, and gain access to credit. So now we've solved that problem of a mismatch between the credit requirements by traditional institution and what the farmer can actually give. When you also think about our trading system, we've been able to bridge that market fragmentation by integrating the commodities market, reducing the potential for middlemen to actually game the system, and essentially leave farmers at their mercy, right? Then when you also think about real-time information discovery, I mean, this actually helps all market players understand what's actually happening at every point in time. So a farmer in Kaduna knows how much maize costs in fact, pardon me, how much maize costs in Kaduna. A processor that wants to buy from Kaduna knows how much maize is in Kaduna. And this actually help people, and also the financial institution that provide credit for a farmer actually knows how much or what is the income potential that this farmer can actually get, given that they understand or they are able to quickly ascertain the price of every commodity at every point in time, and other real-time information that are actually very good in helping people assess their rates. So, I mean, as a result of our impact across the value chain, we've seen significant results in the livelihood of farmers and the livelihood of many other agric SMEs that we've worked with. A recent survey that we did showed that, I mean, farmers that have stayed more than 4 years with us are less likely less likely to be poor, right? So what this means is if farmers continue to work with us, farmers continue to trade on the exchange, if farmers continue to leverage on the products that we have on the exchange, they are less likely to stay within the poverty line. They are less likely to have their income improve over the years. Also, in terms of food security, we also have a similar statistics that shows that okay, farmers that have stayed more than farmers that have stayed more than 3 to 4 years with us are less likely to be food insecure, right? So it just shows that there's a positive translatory effect of the activities of Apex Commodities Exchange on the entire ecosystem, on the entire business, right? So now just looking at financial products that we have on the exchange, or actually the product that actually enable this transition of funds from the capital market to commodities market, helping all value chain players improve their outcome at the end of the day. You think about our spot commodities that actually enables capital market players or retail players at the end of the day come into our trading platform, buy a securitized version of a commodity, and then trade it like an equity or a stock or something like that, which is very amazing. I mean, it's letting every market player understand that yes, I can come into the market without having to incur certain costs like storage costs, collateral management, because the exchange has been able to standardize the contract and standardize the process to enable the easy market entry for all market players, including the retail and institutional capital market guys. You think about our exchange traded fund with exchange traded commodity, which also enables more like a fund that is dedicated to the that's dedicated to the procurement of certain commodities or a basket of commodity, and sometimes can be actively or passively managed, right? And what this does is that people that do not exactly understand the commodities value chain, do not understand the seasonalities of commodities, rather than trade the direct spot contract themselves, could actually buy into a fund, and then the fund manager has a fiduciary relationship to ensure that he grows their money at the end of the day, right? You think about our input notes, which unlocks financing for smallholder farmers, right, ahead of the planting season. And then once smallholder farmers are able to produce, smallholder farmers repay the loan, and then capital market players receive their benefit. And this has a positive effect on the entire value chain, because if you look at it, it has a sense of impact investing, it has a sense of portfolio diversification, it also has a sense of wealth creation for all value chain players. Then you think about our trade finance note, which unlocks financing for aggregators looking to sell to the export market or to the international market. I mean, over the years, we've observed that there's a high level of demand for some of our export products like ginger, sesame, cocoa, and the likes, right, and cashew, because of the nutrient that people have been able to observe in our own production, right, or in our own local variation of this commodity. So we've seen that, okay, given that the world is moving towards a situation where there's always a high demand for spices, there's always a high demand for healthy foods, and these commodities or these spices are sort of high demand because of this switch or change in consumer patterns. So we know that for a fact that there's a need to service these people looking to export to this market, looking to gain income. And in a sense, it has also a positive effect on the entire economy, because it increases our capacity to earn foreign exchange revenue, which is sort of like a very good thing. When you also think of the asset-backed commercial paper, is a way of unlocking working capital for Agric business or Agric SMEs, or SMEs essentially, or processors and the likes, to have money in order to purchase commodities at the right time, right, as at when due. So I mean, they don't need to face the risks of supply chain disruption. They also don't need to face the price risks that might be evident in the current space due to the fact that there's an excess demand as compared to supply. Now, specifically speaking to the trade finance note, right? I mean, like I've said, agricultural exports is literally one of the very important things. The numerous stakeholders in the economy have continued to leverage or try to focus on how to improve or diversify our economy. And there's one thing, even before there was a switch in the national economy to petroleum, agricultural export was one of our biggest earners, right? I mean, I attended Obafemi Awolowo University, and when I was in school, I would always hear that the infrastructure we were studying in was actually built from cocoa money, and which is very, very interesting. So the government and other stakeholders have continued to place a lot of effort in order to boost this capacity, to boost the production capacity of this export product, and to enable the smooth transition from the domestic market to the export market, right? And you see that if you look at the figures, you see there's over a 78% increase in terms of export products of for agriculture. If you also look at the base of what has been exported in Nigeria in terms of segmenting it by sector, you know that agriculture is literally the second leading exports from the country. So there's a lot of potential that we need to tap there, especially given the current fact that there's a lot of value chain disruption, a lot of international politics that is going on right now with certain countries. So there's a lot of leverage Nigeria could actually play in terms of numbers and the like. So what this product or what this financial note actually does at the end of the day is, who are the people that want to export, right? Do they have the financing to actually procure these commodities at a fair price from the farmers, right? If they do not, how do they get this financing? And that's where the exchange comes into place. So is there a product on the exchange of which, off the back of that product, capital can be raised in order to finance these aggregators, and immediately these aggregators are able to procure and sell to the international market. They're able to recoup their money and repay the investors on the exchange or the note holders at the end of the day. And if you look at it, there's a lot of key statistics. In the last 2 to 3 years, the product has raised about $50 million in terms of capital raise. That's financed the exportation of over 6,000 metric ton worth of commodities, ranging from cocoa, ginger, sesame, cashew, and an average return of above 13%, given the current fixed income regime in Nigeria. So yeah, I mean, when you also look at benefits, you think about wealth creation, impact investing. It's short term, it's diversified, the return is assured, and it's guaranteed in a way. So that's the bulk of my presentation. Right. So do we have any questions or anything you want me to address, or should we just go to the next session, and afterwards we have a panel session or a Q&A after the presentations by all speakers? What do you think, Stephen?
Okay. So that was excellent. So thank you so much, Femi. And I must applaud that. So please, in case you have any question, do kindly send in your questions using the Q&A section so that our experts can quickly attend to this. So while we are hoping that you'll send in your questions, we'd like to also inform you that we just dropped a link on the chats. So the link is for the waiting list for those who are interested in the trade finance notes. The trade finance note is tenured for 120 days with a return of 4.6%. So if you're interested, so kindly make use of the link so that we can actually reach out to you after this webinar. Next is our product manager, that's Victory Onya. So we'll be moving to Victory, who will be walking us through navigating the COMEX app and how to trade, fund your wallet, how you can add the commodity to watch list and all that.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. It's nice to be on this panel session and this webinar with you. So briefly, I'll be walking you through COMEX app, how the app works through the process to make your journey easier. COMEX offers a platform that enables you to diversify your portfolio. And on COMEX, we have different boards. We have the cash settled board. What this does is it enables investors to purchase spot commodities and see their investment grow. So you're purchasing the commodities by funding your wallet and then monitoring price, and then you can sell when the price has appreciated. The deliverable spot board enables, it's meant for clients with physical commodities or who want to trade physical commodities. So basically they can introduce their commodities through the warehouse via an e-warehouse receipt. And what this does is it introduces these commodities into COMEX, that's the deliverable spot board. It basically securitizes the commodities and allow investors able to play on this space. Most of the players that we have on this space are processors and people who want to access financing through taking loans and using their stock as collateral. And then we have the fixed income and also the OTC. And so now I'll be sharing my screen to walk you through the process. For a new client, what is important is you need to sign up to the app. And signing up to the app, you're inputting important information, your name, your email address, your phone number, and then proceeding forward to set your password. You get a one-time OTP, which allows you access. What the one-time OTP does is it validates and verifies your identity and allows you to access the COMEX platform. So I'm running you through a demo account. This is Victory's demo account, and she just created her account recently and funded her account with 394.58 naira. As a new client on Comex, this is the home page. You can easily jump to your portfolio. You can see your portfolio. You can fund your wallet from here and then view your open orders when you have an existing trade put up on the market. Very importantly, as a new investor on the exchange, you may not have sufficient knowledge of trading, and therefore we've made trading very easy for you by giving you an access to understand the basics of trading, and you can access that on the Learn the Basics of Trading. So what this does is it gives you a fun way to learn more about trading through our flashcards. Our flashcards gives you information on exchange traded commodities, that's ETC, the commodity market like Femi has explained. It gives you information on the warehouse receipt system. You can learn more about hedging, spot contracts, how to diversify your portfolio, and other important information. Remember that on the spot board, commodities now are have been reduced to kg volumes to enable anybody invest and trade and diversify their portfolio. So all of this information, you can access it on the Learn to Trade menu. You can learn how to make the perfect alternatives in terms of investment. So all of this is available. Also, you can watch interactive videos to learn more about trading. These interactive videos gives you more insight on how to improve and grow your investment on Comex. Finally, you also are able to view documents, articles that helps you master the art of trading, understand the products that we deliver and what is traded on the exchange. And this you can view through the Learn to Trade menu. If you go back to the home, you are, as a client, you can share your referral code to your friends, your families, and see them join Comex through your referral code. You can also start trading, but prior to trading, one important thing you have to do is to fund your wallet. So when you go to the fund wallet, currently we have two options that allow you to fund your wallet. We have the bank transfer option and we have the debit card option. The debit card option allows you to make payments through Paystack service, and their fees apply. It's an automatic funding. Once you make your payments by inserting your card details, your wallet is automatically credited and funded with the amount. Our bank transfer, this is one of our new additions to Comex to improve our funding cycle and then our turnaround time. Prior to this, clients would have to make a transfer to FX account and then have their accounts manually funded. But due to the constraints with that method and approach, we improved our funding to enable clients to do a direct transfer to their Comex account. How does this work? Once a client opens an account, a unique account number is created for you. What we have here is the WEMA alert account number, and this account number is unique to every client. So once you copy this account number and do a direct transfer, like you're making a transfer from one bank to the other, it automatically funds your wallet. However, fees apply depending on the value that you are trying to fund. Once your account is funded, you can proceed to the market to make your trade. The product view gives you a knowledge of all the products that is in the market across different boards. So we have the cash settled spot board, we have the deliverable spot board, like I've earlier explained, we have the fixed income, and then we have the OTC for clients who have access to those boards. On the spot board gives you a list of securities that are being traded on the exchange. The beautiful thing about the spot board is you don't need so much money to trade on this board, because we've made it so easy for each and every investor to hold securities on our platform by reducing the units that a client can buy. So a client can buy 1 unit of maize for as little as 219 naira 70 kobo. You can buy sorghum for as little as 230 naira, and you can be rest assured that from this you're already growing your portfolio, you're diversifying your income, and then you can buy as many as 1,000 units even on the spot board. So you can view the details of this commodity. Currently, our commodities are denominated in Naira. You can view the underlying asset of these commodities, and then the price fluctuation. The price on our exchange currently is a plus or minus 10% of the contract value. You can see the reference location, and then you can see the price history for the commodity you want to purchase over a period of time. Beautifully, we have the add to watch list feature that enables you to track and be notified when there's a price change of this commodity. Directly, you get a push notification and an email notification to notify you when the prices of this commodity have appreciated or depreciated. Once you add a commodity to your watch list, the system notifies you if you want to add this commodity to your watch list. And once you do that, the security is added to your watch list, and then you get a notification. And every time the price of this security appreciates, you are immediately notified of it, and then you can make valid and informed decisions on your investment. Also, you can proceed to buy or sell any of these securities on the exchange. So I'm just going to put you through how to purchase a unit of security. Remember, to sell a security, you must have on spot board, you must have purchased it at an earlier date to have that security in your portfolio. But once you funded your wallet, you can proceed to make purchase of any security that is within the available cash balance on your wallet. I'm purchasing currently a unit of paddy rice, that's spot paddy rice. This is the band 221.97 naira to 271.29, but the current price is 225 naira. And then I'm already in a community, but by law, every trade is required to be processed through a brokerage community. So if you've not joined a community at this point, you'll be prompted to join a community to place your trade. And then you can preview the purchase of your security. For paddy rice, the information shows you the exchange fee, the SEC fee, the brokerage fee, the VAT, and then the amount you to pay. And then you can proceed to purchase or to cancel. Once you put up, you get a notification immediately that your order has been queued. What this does is your order becomes a pending order. And beautifully, once you put up a trade, what the system does is it lends that cash for the trade. What does that mean? It means that you'll not be able to access the cash equivalent of that you've put up for this trade till it matches. So there are two ways to it. It's either your trade matches or your trade cancels. There are two reasons why a trade can get cancelled on the exchange. One is if the user by himself cancels the order, but that can only be done while the trade is still pending. And then the second one is if the trade stays pending for the period of 7 days. Currently, we have a good till 7 days on the exchange, which means that a trade is only allowed to stay pending for 7 days. In between this period, the trade can match if the parameters matches the if the ask parameter matches the bid, and then vice versa. But once the trade has stayed pending on the exchange for more than 7 days, it is automatically cancelled by the exchange. So you can see from my cash balance that we have 165 available and then 228.75 in lien. This shows that my trade is still pending. And but once it matches, this value is cleared out of the system, and then I receive the equivalent portfolio, which is 1 unit of paddy rice that I had earlier put up a trade to buy. Once I go to my portfolio, it shows you the existing portfolio that you've had, the purchases that you've made previously before now. You can see that on your portfolio. And what this shows is it shows you the current price of that security. Remember that you may have purchased that security at an earlier date, and the price moves on the exchange due to the forces of demand and supply. So as price appreciates, you can see the current price of that security, which allows you make an informed decision to sell or to buy or to hold, hoping that the price may appreciate in future. You can also see the available units that you have. The available units you have is the unit that the available units that you have is the unit that you can put up for sale at any given period of time. The your lien portion shows you what is pending. For the deliverable spot board, the lien also constitutes what you've put up for dispatch. Remember, I earlier said that securities can be introduced into the deliverable spot board through an electronic warehouse receipt system. Holders of this security can request for a dispatch at any point in time from their available units. And once they request for a dispatch, pending when it's approved and processed, it also shows a lien volume on your deliverable spot portfolio. When you drill down to it, the trade breakdown shows you more information about your security. Here, you can see that you can see the date you purchased this security, the status, and then the performance. Given price movements in the market, you can tell if you're making a profit or you're making a loss. And then it can help you make valid decisions on what to do. It tells you the order price, the price at which you purchase that commodity or that security rather, and then the current price. So based on that, you can know if you should hold that commodity, given that it will appreciate in the future, or you can choose to sell if the current price is favorable for you. When you view more, it shows you the performance in terms of Naira, the performance in percentage, and then your total investment. Your total investment shows the total value that you've invested for a particular security over a period of time. Pardon me. And this goes for other securities. You can also drill down, and then it gives you informed decision. Beautifully, you don't even need to go to the order book to place a trade. Right from your portfolio, once you have that security, you can trade, and it takes you directly to the market, and then you can sell the security. And like I earlier said, if you have cash in your wallet, you can also purchase within the price band. Okay. For the securities that you've added to your watch list, once you go to your watch list, you can see those securities that have been added, and you can make a choice to take them off. You can make a choice to take them off your watch list, or you can go back to the order book to add more securities to your watch list. Then also, we have the FX body. So what the FX body does is it gives you a notification, a real-time notification of all the activities that is happening on your app and on the platform. And then from here, you can reach out to our team of experts, live chat, communicate, ask your questions, and then get feedbacks. Over the transactions that I've carried out on my account, you can see that the body gives me a notification of all these down to the time that I had made these actions on the system. And so this can help you track your activity on the exchange and know how you've progressed over time with your trades and all of that goes on your account. Next, we have the FAQs. I know that the commodity space may be a bit new to a lot of people, and they have a lot of questions. We understand, and then we empathize with you, and therefore we've created frequently asked questions that we've based on our surveys and the questions we've asked users that with the issues they may have interacting with the system, and we've itemized and documented all of those questions and then answers here. And so every user can access this at every point in time to get clarification when they are hooked or they are stuck on any activity on the exchange. Next, you can also start a live chat, and then this live chat enables you to reach out to our team of experts who are more than willing to answer your questions and then give you answers to your questions as regards to your activities and your trading activities on the exchange. Also, you can contact us through our phone numbers. You can contact us through our email for complaints and resolutions. You can contact us through our customer care support email details. And then we have a team that would reach out to you and then give you quick answers and quick feedbacks to whatever challenges you experience on the exchange. Next, we have the report. So what the report does is the report gives you a breakdown of the transactions that you've carried out on your account. So for transactions, you can see all of the transactions that you've done over time. If you've made a withdrawal on your account, it locks that there. So at every point in time, you can track the history and you can track your activity on the exchange. Then more, under more, you can see community. What the community does is it gives you it adds you to a team of like-minded people and investors where you can collaborate with and communicate on information, market trends, and information that has to do with the exchange, and then get valuable insight that can aid your investment journey and then your investment decisions. We have the promoter communities and then the broker community. So when you come to communities, I'll just quickly leave this one and then walk you through how to join the community. Apologies. Okay. So once a new user comes to my community page, you see join a community. Alternatively, we have brokers and promoters on our platform who are creating awareness of, like a broker creates awareness of the COMEX platform, how to trade, and then they may share you their link. Once you join or sign into COMEX through a broker's link, you are it prompts you to join that broker's community. Also for a promoter, it prompts you to join the promoter community. The beautiful thing about joining a broker community is that a broker can help trade on your behalf and then make informed decision, given that your time schedule may not favor you being active on the exchange. A broker can, having studied market trends, knowing when is the best time to invest, can make those decisions on your behalf when you give that broker an access to trade on your behalf. But for a new user, you can join a community and then you can search from a list of communities that we have on the platform, and then you can join. Just a minute on this. Just a bit of issue here. Sorry, just a bit of an issue there, but it pulls up a list of all the communities that exist, and then you can join the community. Back to the homepage and then markets. You can view. I already earlier stated that you can view your trade history, and then you can filter by what is market cancelled. Remember, I told you that there are two reasons why your trades may be cancelled. If it stays in the market pending for more than 7 days, or if you cancelled it by yourself. You can view your match trades. You can view your partial trades. You may ask, what is a partial trade? A partial trade exists when you put up a bulk volume to trade and just a part of it is being matched. So say, for example, a client indicates his desire to sell 200 units of SMAs by putting up 200 units of SMAs on the exchange, but it only matched with a seller or buyer of just 100 metric ton. That is partially matched, and then the clients can see, the investor can see what has been partially matched and then what is yet unfulfilled, what is yet to be fulfilled. Yeah, I think. So also, you can view diverse portfolio. You can view the commodities that we have on the exchange, view their current prices, and then view all information regarding that commodity to make decisions about trading. This is beautiful. Everybody deserves a chance to improve their portfolio, diversify their investment, and this is what COMEX offers. Offers you a platform that you trade securitized commodities with less risks and then great and massive returns and rewards on it. This is so beautiful. I think I've spoken enough. I don't know if anybody has any question that they would like to ask. Well, for questions. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, thank you. so much, Victory. That was excellent. So right now, we'll be attending to the questions in our Q&A section. Before we move to the Q&A section, I would like to remind us to make use of the link in the chat box for those who are interested in the trade finance notes, so that we can actually reach out to you as soon as we have this product listed. Aside that, okay, so let's quickly attend to the questions, to some of the questions that we have here. So one of the questions says, good day, what are the categories of membership you have? Can a registered investor transact business on a different board or switch from one board to the other, that is between spot and deliverables? Victory, would you like to answer this?
Okay, so currently you can sign up on the exchange as an individual or as a corporate investor. Each of these sign up options have their various requirements and KYC verification and validation that is necessary. But as an investor, when you sign in as an investor, there are questions that prompt up on sign up page, and those questions, based on your response, are allocated to the board that is suitable for you. So based on the questions that you answer when you're signing up, it can allocate it to the cash settled spot board, the deliverable spot board, or even the OTC spot board, and then as well as the fixed income. And then you have the ability to trade all of these commodities. But even while signed in as an investor, you can upgrade your account to become a promoter, which means you want to join a community of people that create awareness on the exchange and then earn some percentage fees. You can do that as an investor. Signing up as a corporate client, you can sign up directly as a corporate investor. You can sign up as a broker or as a broker dealer, but that requires some legal documents to be uploaded on our platform and then verified before you can be approved and allowed to trade as any of these sign up options. But once you sign in, and then you can make a request through any of our communication channels to get access to any of the boards if you don't already have access to, based on the earlier questions that you've answered. And then our team of market controllers are ever willing and excited to give you access to those boards after verifying and making their verifications and all of that. And then you can get access to those boards to trade and make gains. Thank you.
Okay, so thank you so much, Victory. So for those who are asking for the recorded version of the webinar, be rest assured we'll be sharing this with you via email. So next question that I have here is, how long can one keep his investment on COMEX? Is there a duration for each unit purchased? Femi?
So ideally, there isn't a duration on how long you can hold a spot contract. So it depends on what you want to invest into. So if you want to invest into the fixed income instrument, they are tenor based, and when you are investing into it, the tenor is indicated. What this means is upon redemption or upon the expiration of the tenor, your money and your interest or your redemption value is returned to your receipt in your portfolio or your wallet. However, for variable income instruments like sports contract, ideally it's advisable for you to trade it in line with the trading cycle, the commodity cycle in Nigeria. So you know that staples are like a dual cycle, have a dual cycle in the country, being the wet season and dry season. And it's not really advisable to hold the previous year's commodity, hold a stable contract like base into the wet season harvest, because you know that the prices generally reset. So yes, there isn't a restriction for how long you can hold spot contracts, but again, it's advisable for you to trade it in line with the commodities trading cycle in Nigeria. We have many reports on our websites that talk about the commodity cycle in Nigeria. I mean, you could go to our website and read some of our reports to give you in-depth knowledge on what the commodity cycle is for different commodities and the likes.
Okay, thank you, Femi. Okay, so we have someone asking, how do I become a promoter, and one asking, how can a promoter become a broker? Okay, so becoming a broker, there are legal documents that are attached to this. However, we would enjoin you to send us an email at support@fxnigeria.com, and we'll be glad to attend to you. So I have another question with me here. Please clarify, once I fund my wallet and I'm in a community, will the community immediately start investing on my behalf? Victory, I don't know if you'd like to attend to this.
So no, once you fund your wallet and you are joined to a community, the community do not have the access to immediately trade on your behalf. Remember, when you go to your more icon, then when you join the community, you should give the community the broker in that community and access to trade on your behalf. If that is not done, there's no broker or that has the access to trade on your behalf. Whatever money, whatever funding that is done on your account, you would have to make those trades by yourself. But by giving the broker an access to trade on your behalf, by turning on the can trade on my behalf button when you want to join community, when you join the community, the broker then has access to trade on your behalf and then sell and buy grains for you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Victory. So I have someone asking, how can I know FX warehouse near me? Okay, so for this person, I will advise that you send us an email, support@fxnigeria.com, and we'll share the nearest FX warehouse to you, so you can actually engage them. So next question here is saying, can we upload our own commodity or goods? Victory.
So I told you that we have different boards on the exchange. One of such that could allow you to do this is the deliverable spot board. So what it does is we have warehouses across Nigeria. Based on the commodities that are tradable on the exchange, you can take your commodity to any of these accredited FX warehouses, and then an electronic warehouse receipt is raised for you. What that does is it's converts those commodities that you brought to the warehouse to the exchange via securitization. So 100 metric ton that you brought to the warehouse is graded and checked. We have quality parameters that your commodity will have to undergo at the warehouse. And once that is done, the volume, the net weight is ascertained, and then an electronic warehouse receipt is raised for. This is what reflects on your deliverables portfolio. And then you are able to trade these securities on the exchange. But this only works for the deliverable spot board. It is not applicable to the fixed income board. It's not applicable to the spot board. It's only applicable to the deliverable spot board. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Victory. So I have another question. So we can know when to increase or decrease, or when to diversify. Did you hear that?
Sorry, we lost you for some minutes.
Okay, sorry, I guess that was my network. So I'll read this again. I observed that we did not get our portfolio change, so we can know when to increase or decrease, or when to diversify.
Sorry. Can you take that again, please?
Okay. I observed that we do not get our portfolio change, so we can know when to increase or decrease, or when to diversify.
Okay, if I get you correctly, you're complaining that you do not get your portfolio changed. Sorry, what do you mean by that?
Okay, so I guess what this person is trying to say is probably when they invest, so they don't get to see how the commodity is performing.
Okay, I understand. So well, currently when a portfolio is added to your watch list, so you need to check if that if that security has been added to your watch list. If you've purchased the security, it does not automatically give you notifications on an increase or a decrease on that security. You should have to add it to your watch list, and then you can receive notifications if there's a change. Alternatively, when you go to you can see the price history of the security when you view the information on that security, and then you can see the price trends and price appreciation or depreciation as the case may be over time. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Victory. So right now, I think that will be all from my end. So in case you have any other inquiry for us, so we'll be willing to assist you. So kindly direct your questions or your inquiry via email to support@fxnigeria.com. I've actually dropped that email on the chat, so you can still check support@fxnigeria.com. And as a reminder, I've also shared the link, the waiting list for those who are interested in the trade finance note. If you are interested in investing in the trade finance note, kindly use the link that we currently have in the chat box. So the trade finance note is tenored for 120 days with a return of 4.6%. And also, we can as well reach out to you to provide further information on this instrument if you like. So I don't think we have any other questions that we can ask here. Okay, so thank you very much, everyone. We really appreciate your time, and we will be hoping to have any of your inquiries via email so that we can actually attend to them. Thank you once again.